I forgot to turn on the microphone, so I'll start it all over again for my video, guys. Paul K. Lemire, your city, your voice, downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, back in the studios of 4680Q Radio. I'm back, and I didn't turn on the microphone. You know why? Because I forget. That's why. I always forget. You know what I mean? So, anyway, we're up and going now, and had a great time down there. Everything was beautiful, 80 degrees every day. So to come back to a day like today, closing in on 60 degrees, is just beautiful for me. Thank you very much. I brought the good weather back with me, I guess. It's nice out there today. A little bit windy, but good. Had a great time in Florida. A lot of people who were awake. I didn't have to deal with a lot of woke people. And that was a good thing. Of course, when you come to Canada, hey, everybody's got TDS and they're woke. So they knew they were pretty tuned into what's going on around the world. Not these woke psychopaths that deliver the CNN message daily to everybody. It was refreshing down there. I did 4 videos down there, and 3 of them had the Gulf of America as a backdrop. Fantastic. Now, just looking behind me, you could see in those videos what was going on. Pretty impressive to see that every morning, and even had a visit from my good buddy, Peter Dichter. Yes, that's right. He was in St. Petersburg, and he dropped down to St. Pete Beach, and we did a pop-up video about city council and other things, so that was pretty cool. And we had a lady from Palestine watching us. Oh man, I get in this studio and I start coughing. Unbelievable. It always happens to me. I don't know what's up with this place. Oh man, I'm starting to get stuffed up already. But yeah, and she watched Peter and I do this, and then after she was saying, "You mind if I say something here?" We thought, "Oh boy, she's gonna give it to us," but no. She was right on side with everything we said, and she was really, really good. She was knowledgeable about what was going on in the Middle East with Iran and Palestine, Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, the whole thing. And we had a great long talk. I wanted to get her on the show, but she never made it. I lost track of her. She was only there for a couple days, and I just never got her on the show. Too bad, because I'd like to have seen what she really has to say about it. Now, I'll tell you how wild this is. She did not want to appear on camera. She would come on the show, but she wanted to sit off camera, and she didn't want to use her real name because she fears that her community, people in her community, will attack her. She was fearful. And that's wild. So I wish I would have had a chance to talk to her. We didn't. But a good time with Peter. He came. He was in St. Pete Beach for a while, and then he took off back to Naples. He lives in Naples, and I have to give a shout out to all the great people I met last week. Tom and Karen, whose patio I used to do the first show from down there. Thank you very much. Minnesota Phil and Lisa, Brent and Lana, Minnesota Keith, Minnesota Wayne, Wisconsin Andy, Toronto Jan, the Don, Joseph Roma from the south side of Chicago, Palestinian Angel, and I wanted to get her on the show, like I said, I didn't. Brenda, Jim, Toledo, Pat, Boston, Chris. I apologize if I missed anybody. There were so many people I missed. Some new people who I really, really forgot their names. That's basically it. But they're all there. We had a good time all week. Good time hanging out with them, and God willing, maybe I will see you all next week. Thank you for the week. It was a lot of fun, and because this is a timeshare, and I thank Mary Vescio for inviting us down and hanging out with her for a week at her timeshare. The same people come back every week. I think we were there week 9. It's called of the year. They go by weeks, and fortunately. We were there 2 years ago, and the same people were there, so it was really neat to see everybody again. I'm down there. So that's it. We had a great time. Didn't do a lot. Didn't want to do any touring. Didn't want to do any running around. We did stop in Orlando. We flew into Orlando and kind of mooked around there for a few days and saw what they call Old Town. And of course, you're inundated with Mickey Mouse ears there. Everybody's got the Mickey Mouse fever. I don't know why, but they do. And Orlando's the place to be if you want to wear Mickey Mouse ears, Mickey Mouse luggage, Mickey Mouse shoes, Mickey Mouse everything. The only thing I didn't see Mickey Mouse condoms, but then again, I wasn't really looking. So who knows what else they have for Mickey Mouse. And then we get back here on Saturday, and it's been great weather. I mean, you can't beat it out there this morning at 57 going on 60. Move the clocks ahead, lost an hour. It was a wild day yesterday, but we're back in the groove and we're back in the studio, which is fantastic. I'm glad to be back in the studio. I don't mind the studio at all. And here we are. And as we take a look, we have 36% humidity. It's dry out there today, and a barometer reading of 29.12, holding tough since 4:30 this morning when I got up. So, and we're not going to get any inclement weather. There's nothing big moving around. And the snow is gone. That's a good thing. All the snow in my driveway's gone. All that snow I shoveled, it's like beer. You can only rent it, and then it's gone. And of course, I always look for a March storm around St. Patty's Day. We have another week till we get to that. So there's that, and that's it. As this weather shapes up for everybody, you have to get your car in and get it ready for spring. Look at this weather. Now's the time to make an appointment with Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Get your car in there, get those snows off, get everything cleaned up, get your oil changed, get ready for spring, get ready for summer, beat the spring rush. Ken always has a spring checkup special going on where you can go in there, get your car checked out, and make sure that it's running tip top for summer and spring. Oil changes. Ken's got all the equipment there, top to bottom. He'll make sure your car is a-okay. He's on Oakwood Drive next to the Kia dealership. WildBillsAuto.ca is where you go to check out his website. And of course, then I ask everybody, while you're there, go over to my YouTube channel, Paul Lemire 4973. Check out my videos, subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications, and you can tune in every day to the show. If you like, you can also tune in live on 4680Q at noon, but I drop a video by about 3 o'clock of the exact same show. Oh, gosh. Yeah, you might as well subscribe, like, leave comments. I got lots of comments today from the past few shows last week. And leave comments. We'd like to hear what you have to say. And I will read them on air regardless of what they say. I always get them on there and you can discuss them and other people can listen to them and I'll tell you what I think. And that's about that. But subscribe, share the video, get more people involved. We're running into an election this year, October. This year's the election. We want to make sure we get the votes in there and everything's voted for. And we get the people that are going to take care of us as taxpayers. That's who we want. The last 4 years, we've seen 25% increase in our property taxes. It's no accident. You put spendthrifts on city council and people that don't know what the hell they're doing, and this is what you get. So get people on there that know what they're doing. And I will go through that over the coming weeks as we get other people in here to talk about that, like Al McKay and Chris Regas and some other people talking about taxes and that kind of thing. Okay, Wild Bill's Auto Repair Body Shop. That's who you want to call for all your automobile needs. Pete's Pizza on Victoria is our second sponsor. We'll talk about them at the half hour. Okay, let's mosey on through these viewer comments here. March 1st, 2026, Peter Dichter was in St. Pete Beach, and he sat down and we talked about different things. And I got a comment from @Minhofer, a new commenter, somebody from Minnesota, probably, Minhofer. Now, there was a few people at the Mariner Beach Resort that I was at, Beach Club. I'm not sure who Minhofer exactly is. It could be Keith. I'm not sure. It could be Phil, Minnesota Phil. I'm not sure. But Thank you for the comment, Paul. Great to meet you in person at the Mariner and being able to witness your program live. Keep up the voice on what's happening that affects our lives every day. And thank you so much for whoever gave me that comment. It's a pleasure to spend the week with a group of people that are aware. We had some great conversations about Minnesota, Iran, Chicago, you name it. We talked about it. Venezuela, Cuba, it doesn't matter. Like I say, that Palestinian woman that gave Pete Dichter and I her perspective on the Iranian situation, some great insight from someone who has roots there. Not sure exactly who left this comment from Minnesota, but thank you so much. Please feel free to go in and identify yourself so I know who sent it. I met a lot of people from there. And yeah, fantastic week with everybody. At 881 Slick, hi, gents. Hope you both are well. He was talking to Peter Dichter and I, and yes, we were well, sitting in the sunshine in that beautiful, beautiful weather in beautiful Florida. And he says, in camera meetings are not transparent. Jimmy is so afraid of accountability. And I agree. I mean, this city council has an in camera meeting all the time. We saw a real dandy of one last meeting when Vince Carrier wanted to take the actual amalgamation discussion in camera. Why? I don't know. It should have been done transparently and in front of the public. As a matter of fact, it was so crazy of an idea that Lori Lococo refused to go into the closed meeting on it because she felt that it should be discussed in front of the public. They should be accountable, and that democracy reigns. But I guess not with the rest of the council. They went in and had discussions about who knows what. I don't know. But if they can't discuss amalgamation, which affects all of us taxpayers, and everybody is saying they want everybody to have input on before Bob Gale does anything crazy, you'd think they would have had the meeting in open. No, they did. So that's what Gary's talking about there. The Iceman 69. Peter gets it, not about the politicians. And yeah, it's not about the politicians. It's about us, what works best for us, the taxpayers, and the people who vote these guys in. So, and I believe Peter said that, and John Ringo Beam, the Iceman 69 agrees. It's not about the politicians. And another comment, the rush is they need money for a financial reset, sort of consolidating your loans in a smaller, convenient payment, plus a bonus credit increase for new sewage plant they need. Redicop is playing good cop in this game. So if you saw Redicop versus Bob Gale at the 40-year meeting when Bob came in to talk about amalgamation, you'll see that Redicop was really kind of ripping them big time. He was on him like white on rice. And of course, Bob didn't have all the answers. Redicott was making the point, hey, you sat on council while all this was going on. Why don't you know what's going on? So it was pretty intense. But John thinks they need the money from a financial reset, sort of consolidating all the loans because the debt that the region carries right now is pretty big. And there's a lot of projects that have to be done with that money. So a reset may be good. At Penny Brookify, I think all the property owners in the region have the same concern. Show us the savings before you change anything, she says. But even if they present some great plan, can it be trusted? And, she goes on to say, remember when Niagara Falls transferred transit to the region, the presentation was all about cost savings. And she's totally, totally right. Penny Brookify is totally right. That's what it was about. And we've had discussions about this many times on this show right here. And Lori Lococo, Councilor Lococo, was asked about it many, many times. How come we were spending $7.5 million as a city when we ran transit? Now we've passed it on to you. We've given you all our equipment, all our everything, and now the price to the city is more than double the 7.5 million. We were running it for 7.5. Now we have to contribute 15, 16, 18, 20, 20, $20 million. Why? It was supposed to be revenue neutral. We'll do this, and we get a $7.5 million bill like we had before. So it never worked out. That's what she's talking about. I guess we have less. If we have less politicians, we'll have less people gaslighting us. Yeah, exactly. Great point. Great point. Thank you for your comment at Penny Brookfront. March 2nd show at Muffin Mouse. Hey, Paul. Wanted to wish you and yours a happy vacation, Gulf of America. Happy days. Go Habs, go. So someone who tunes in to my Habs show also commented on the Your City, Your Voice show. So that's good. Thank you at Muffin Mouse. I appreciate it. At Penny Brookify, enjoy your time in the Sunshine State. I got back from Dominican. It was lovely to feel the sun. Yes, it was lovely to feel the sun at 80 degrees every day since I got there. It was beautiful, a beautiful week. So, yeah, it's nice to get that sun. And it's even nicer when you come back and you have nice weather to deal with. At 881 Slick, hey, Phil, thanks for being on Your City, Your Voice. There you go. Minnesota Phil was on the show discussing the situation in Minnesota and a little bit about the situation in Iran. And 881 Slick Gary is saying to Phil, thank you very much for being on the show. That was pretty cool. And I thanked him a lot too. Gary, he was a great guy, and he knew a lot about what he was talking about. At Dave Wheeler, 1158, I agree entirely about preview of integrity issues by retired commissioner. And we talked about that because city council is whining and crying about all the money that is spent on integrity commissioner complaints. They are part of the democratic process. City council put the rules in place to have a complaint. They want $1,000 now. Before they wanted $500. The ombudsman, they said you shouldn't have any charge. They told them not to charge anything. They shouldn't. It's democracy. That's how democracy works. But our Gestapo over here on Queen Street decides they're going to put $500 where other cities don't charge anything, or $25 fee, fill out the paperwork or whatever. Oh no, we're at $1,000 now. And if you can't afford $1,000, you can't lodge a complaint, no matter how you feel our counselor is performing, whether they're performing with integrity or not. Unless you have a grand, you can't do anything about it, which is not right. But hey, Kaiser Fritz von Cario moved the motion, and underboss Heidi von Neuestig, the other, the woman Kaiser. What do they call a female Kaiser? Kaiseress? I don't know, but she seconded that motion, and she even got up and said that people are only using it as a weapon. I don't know. Maybe people really think you're doing something wrong there, only 8. Yeah, and they want to take you to task on it. But no, she says they're using it as a weapon, inferring that they shouldn't even be heard. It's just they're just using it as a weapon. We don't do anything wrong. Yeah, I'd give you the Italian salute, but I'm not going to do it. Here's what I should give you right here. Don't be a chooch. Oh, at Penny Brookify. You mean 40-ish years ago, the people voted to scrap the region and the will of the people was ignored? Yes, that was right. That's exactly what happened. They had a referendum. I remember it clearly. People said, get rid of the region. They've been saying it for 56 years, since January the 1st, 1970, when they first put it in. That sounds like the city's engagement surveys. They always do these surveys. They never do anything that people say. They do wild, wacky things like $25,000 ping pong tables. But yep, they had a referendum, and the people said, get rid of it. It's not working. 40 years later, they want to get rid of it. They have a chance to get rid of it. Now they're crying to keep it. Go figure. We live in a wacky, wacky area. I'm going to tell you that. At Dave Wheeler, 1158. It's Bush and Iraq all over again. We're talking about the Iranian situation. The Kurds will help the U.S. now, but have not forgotten how Trump backstabbed them in his first term. They can only control their small area within Iran. I don't know if Trump backstabbed them. I mean, that's what the woke people say, but I didn't think he did. But you know what? That's me. And Dave thinks they did. The U.S. is a huge war elephant in Israel, the baby elephant, stomping Iran the most in its house. Elephants are said to be afraid of mice. It's all about control of oil, not about self defense. And we know that's the case. We know that's the case. They got Venezuela oil. Now they're going to get Iran oil. And I'll talk a little about a little end around Trump did to ensure that he controls the Straits of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf as far as oil goes. And China is not very happy about that, I can guarantee, because they get a lot of their oil from there. So, yeah, it may be about oil, but I mean, oil is self defense. I mean, oil is what makes the world go round, and very, very good to have control of that. And we'll talk about oil and gasoline prices a little bit later. So now that we're finished that, let's get on to the rest of the show. Viewer comments. Thank you to everyone who commented. Dave Wheeler, Penny Brookify, 881 Slick, Iceman 69, Minhofer. Oh, and who else did I have here? Muffin Mouse. So thank you to all the commenters. We enjoy your comments. Please keep them coming. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing. Okay, so the presentation and move to amalgamate cities in the region by Chairman Bob Gale is having an effect. Yeah, people are listening. I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse, but they're thinking about their councils and how many people they have on these councils. Niagara-on-the-Lake is pondering a smaller town council for the fall election. With a move by Gale to trim down council size, many municipalities are seriously looking at their governance model. They want to proact rather than react to the Gale letter. Currently, Niagara-on-the-Lake has 9 politicians, 8 councilors, and a mayor. But during Tuesday's planning meeting, Deputy Lord Mayor Erwin Weems says, "We do believe in governance review, but feels it has to be evidence-based. It has to be best for the region and data-driven. But they want to take the driver's seat rather than following along." Now, Niagara-on-the-Lake really doesn't want amalgamation. They want to retain their identity as this quaint little village and make changes internally to show Premier Ford they are serious about governance reform outside of the realm of amalgamation. Most smaller municipalities are on the same track as Niagara-on-the-Lake. They do not want to get in a big pond and lose their individual identities to amalgamation. It's great to see the municipalities being proactive, but at the end of the day, I still don't get why there is resistance to change. People have been crying about the region for 56 years. It doesn't work. Get rid of it. And now they have the opportunity. There's a resistance movement going on based not on reality, I don't believe, but fear of the unknown, which doesn't make a lick of sense when you consider our regional taxes have gone up 33% over the last 4-year term of this sitting regional council, with no end in sight. I mean, the region is in huge debt. There's some big projects they have to continue, they have to build. So to continue to go down the same path is insanity. Whether Niagara-on-the-Lake wants to cut their council from 8 to 4 or 6, whatever they want to do, it just doesn't save enough. It doesn't save enough to make an effect on us taxpayers who are footing the bill for everything they do. So it's not about the people. And I think John Ringo Beam said that. Peter Dichter said that. A lot of people said that. It's not about the councils getting rid of people, because that just saves a little bit. It's about duplication of services. And when every town has their economic development team and their planning team and then their engineering team and everything else, it's just 13 of everything. It doesn't make sense in the region. Even if you cut it down into 4 cities, that's only 4. and get rid of the region totally. So you're going from 13 to 4 and eliminating most of the duplication. I mean, it's going to be an interesting March to May 1st, to say the least. That's the day that nominations have to go in for city councils and the mayor and the regional councilors. So we'll see what happens before then, but I do believe something's going to go down before that. As far as people crying about, we need input, we need input. Well, they've had 56 years of input. They know how people feel about the region. They know how they feel about the region. If there's politicians who don't like it, it's to save their jobs. And it's something to do with them because it has nothing to do with the people. The people all know they're paying too much in taxes and it's got to stop. So if you see a councilor or a mayor trying to keep the region, you know their ulterior motive. And I got to give our mayor, Jim Diodati, credit. He wants to do something with amalgamation. Although I think he has the arrogance to feel that he's going to win the nomination to be mayor of whatever they do anyway. So doesn't feel he's giving anything up. He's going to be the guy. He might get a surprise too. But anyway, at least he's for it, which makes sense on any level. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I can give him kudos for that, regardless of his ulterior motive. Okay, so moving on, we talked about the doctor situation in the region, particularly in Niagara Falls, where Dean Spirinello delivered good news to our residents regarding the doctor situation in Niagara Falls. In Welland, council has paused the incentives after they have a flood of new doctors, 19 since 2024, 2 years. With the $100,000 incentive they used, it's attracted enough practitioners at this point to meet their demand, which is fantastic. Congratulations, Welland. You've done a heck of a job. Now, doctors are looking at practices with 1,700 patients. So even the new doctors that came into Welland have about 1,700 patients now each. They're all doing really good over there. Welland is pausing the program to see how it all washes out, but is ready to relaunch the program as necessary. The $100,000 incentive worked for them. Fantastic. Congratulations to Frank Campy and his council in Welland for doing a great job. Now, this stoppage by Welland bodes well for other municipalities because Niagara Falls still has $100,000 on the table. I think St. Catharines has $5,000 on the table plus whatever else. I'll talk about that in a minute. I can't remember the exact numbers, but overall, the Niagara region still needs 107 more family doctors to meet the demands of 551,000 residents in the region. So there's still a lot of work to do on recruiting. Niagara Falls, and this doesn't surprise me at all, we're the most underserved in the region with a shortage of 29 doctors. So we need 30 doctors. Followed by St. Catharines, where 23 more are needed. So it's a situation. We need more doctors, 29 of them now. St. Catharines offers $5,000 to lure doctors with no conditions on the payment. In other words, when we offer $100,000 in Niagara Falls, they have to stay here for 5 years. Same with Welland. They have to commit to a 5-year tenure here. Whereas in St. Catharines, they give them $5,000 and they don't give them any payment. They give them $5,000, but there's no stipulations. And no wonder they're not getting any doctors when they can come to Niagara Falls or Welland and get $100,000. I mean, it would be really nice if the doctors could come here and face lower property taxes if they moved here. But no, our city council keeps upping the property taxes. So doctor wants to go out and buy a house. He's looking at a good chunk of it in property taxes, even with the $100,000. So I still like John Ringo Beam's John Ringo Beam's idea of actually hiring doctors, the city hiring them, put them in a turnkey business and letting them do their job, and then splitting up the OHIP money so that we get back our money for administration, office space, equipment, and everything else. I still think that's a great idea, even though Dean Spirinello has hired 8 more over the last couple of years and says there's 10 more ready to go. So, I mean, we might only need 19 of these 10 come to fruition. We'll see how that works out for us. But we're still short, woefully short of doctors. And talk to anybody in town. There's a lot of people looking for a doctor. They need a doctor, and they're using the emergency room as their doctor, unfortunately. Okay, let's get over to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And, the thing I like about a good pizza is consistency. We got to be consistent. I like consistency in my pizza. In other words, when I go there, get it one time, I go there, get it again, and it's that darn good. It's still that darn good. Of course, you can't always guarantee that. That's the problem with most pizzerias, but not pizza. And the why? The why of it all. The why. Why are they so consistent? Because they use the family recipe the Mancinis have had around for 40 years, 41 years now. They make it the same every time. Good. The right sauce, the right crust, the right blend of cheese, and the right ratios on the sauce, and you get the taste of everything. Throw on fresh ingredients, you got yourself a winner. They also have great chicken wings, fantastic wings, poutine, steak and cheese poutine, steak sandwiches, chicken parm sandwiches, panzerotti. They do it all. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and now a second location on Thorlestone Road and Kaler Road, the northwest part of the city. You can get great pizzas from there, the same quality as the Victoria Avenue store. Hey, you want a pizza. I always want pizza. All you have to do is pick up the phone, dial 905-374-2200. You got yourself a fresh pizza, and you're all set. You're all set. Can't miss. You can't miss. They use Dine. They use Skip. They'll deliver to you themselves. Fast, hot, ready. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue, and now Thorlestone and Kaler. Go get your pizza today. We thank you for supporting our sponsors and supporting all small businesses in Niagara Falls. They deserve your support. They work hard for you, the customer. Now, let's see. An interesting item that could cost taxpayers dearly. Uh-oh. Here we go again. I don't know what it's going to cost, but I could see it happening. I could see it coming. I've talked to it a million times. Niagara Emergency Medical Services paramedics want the same recognition police and firefighters receive as they continue to negotiate a new contract with the Niagara region. And if you've got a brain that's working, you could have seen this one coming. And I talk about this all the time. Firefighters get 4,000 calls a year, whatever, and only maybe even less than 1% of them are for fires. Maybe 0.1% are fires. The rest are for medical emergencies. And when you look at the fire department, I've always said we need to do a review. Doge needs to get in there and do a review to see what we really need. And I maintain we need more EMS workers, more paramedics, and less firefighters. So they know that too. And they say, hey, wait a minute. We are emergency workers. We deserve the same pay as the firefighters and the police. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I've said this for a long time. They make I thought they made about half of what a firefighter and a police officer makes. They're talking about a 20% savings on the salary of a police officer or a firefighter right now. Probably more. I think it's more, but that's what they said. But either way, they want to be known as emergency people, not municipal employees, because that's what they're called now. They're classified as municipal employees, municipal workers instead of emergency service workers. And in that regard, they get paid less. Now they're saying they want equity, and they also do not receive the benefits other emergency workers get, such as mental health services. He says they want parity with police and firefighters. I can't blame them for wanting that. Whether they're going to get it or not in the new contract, I don't know, but I can't blame them for wanting it. They can see what I see, that they're out there probably more than the firefighters and police doing the job. So they want equality. I don't blame them. You could see that coming. I thought we could save money on them, but I don't know. With this new contract, they may not. But we should hire more unless we need less firefighters and more emergency workers. But I digress because they're just looking for a new contract to bring them equal. And just while I'm holding this, looking at this, just don't forget, if you want to give me a message about anything I'm talking about on the show, 289-994-7560. 289-994-7560. That's where you text, and I'll read it off on the show. So that's what's up with the paramedics and the EMS workers. And when you think about it, they have a good point. They have a really good point. I was waiting for that hammer to fall because at the end of the day, they're gonna want what everybody else gets. And here we are. We're at that juncture right now. Now, McDonald, who is the he is the steward for CUPE, a local 911, 911. Well, we figured that would be it, right? Emergency. He says that many of the EMS workers are leaving for police and fire, or for other services that bring their members to parity with other emergency services. So this raise is needed to keep the paramedics and EMS workers working as paramedics and EMS workers. And if they do get this raise, it's going to cost the region a pretty penny. This was evident. Now they can put more pressure on the region. Huge debt load. Another debt to be piled onto the taxpayers. So stay tuned for this one. They're negotiating that contract now. And we'll see what they do if they don't get what they want. Hopefully, I don't know. I think they're going to have to bring him into the fold. That's all there is to it. Okay, so Mark Carnage may not have to call a spring election. He's called 3 consequential by-elections that could give his Liberal Party a majority and give him unlimited power to finalize his march to destroy Canada. How about that? Now, Carnage announced Sunday that by-elections in the Toronto ridings of University Rosedale, all woke Liberals, and Scarborough Southwest, more woke Liberals, both considered to be Liberal strongholds, as well as the riding of Terrebonne in Quebec there, take place on April 13th. And if they win all 3 seats they have held previously, by the way, they will have a 1-seat majority, and that will be all she wrote. They have the power. So you got to remember that Matt Genereux, Chris D'Entremont, and Michael Ma, 3 conservatives, recently crossed the floor to the Liberal side, leaving current leader Poilievre screwed. This will protect Carnage and any confidence vote. They'd have enough votes to not have to worry about it anymore, basically allowing him to sell Canada to the highest bidder, which appears to be China right now. Oh, these by-elections, they're going to win them. They're not going to lose these 3, so prepare yourself for a Carnage majority, Liberal majority in Canada. Fait accompli. It's pretty well done. You just have to wait for April 13th to hear the bad news. And then we see some real goofy stuff going down. I will guarantee you that. Not good. Things are bad now and about to get worse if these Malamugats get power. And it looks like they're going to. Over to Cuba. Cubans are at the limit. They're chanting down with communism amid blackouts and shortages. It's getting real in Cuba, and the people have apparently had enough. The current regime's grip on the people is failing, and with American pressure, we could see a new regime soon. I'm talking in the next week or two. Trump says the current Cuba is in its last moments of life, and as it currently stands, they can't continue on, and revealed he is personally involved with negotiations to enact change on the island, and says that Marco Rubio will finish up a deal with Cuba as he met with Raul Castro's grandson to discuss the rollback of U.S. sanctions in exchange for the leaders to make changes on the island. So we're going to see these guys go down. This Canel guy, the President Canel, he's going to be either towing the line or he's going to be gone. I mean, the country as it now stands is heading towards a humanitarian crisis. They have no power. They have no food. They have no fuel. They have no nothing there. And the people are starting to understand there's no way out, and the communists are not going to get them out. There is nobody coming to save them except for Trump. And I'm happy for the Cuban people because they're the salt of the earth. They're really, really good people. They've just been under this dictatorship, this communist dictatorship, since the New Year's Eve Revolution in 1959. And I have to say Godspeed to the negotiations in the final chapter to communism in Cuba. Please get in there, help these people out, and get them what they need. It's only 90 miles away in the United States. There's no reason for this to be happening other than the government. And now it's over. Now it's over. So hopefully the Cuban people get straightened out, and Trump can get in there and help them real quick, like now. Okay, so from Cuba, one dictatorship to another one, we cross over to Iran, where Operation Epic Fury has basically taken over the country. Their Air Force, Navy, and missile sites are basically non-existent at this point, and the U.S. and Israel have full control. Of course, a statement from Iran. You know, they're always making things up. They're known to tell lies. So they said they ran out of all their old bombs and missiles and everything. They've exhausted them, and now they got all their new weapons, the high-tech weapons. They haven't unleashed them yet, but they're going to now. Well, I don't believe that for a second. They're getting hammered, literally hammered 24 hours a day by the United States and Israel. Now, Kurdish ground troops are lining up at the border, poised to move into Iran. Boots on the ground from the Kurds, fully supported by the U.S. and Trump, as Iran continues to lob bombs at everyone, including the United Arab Emirates, who have tried to stay on the sidelines, but now that Iran's hammering them, they say they're in a state of war with Iran since the recent escalation. The United Arab Emirates is a federation of 7 independent emirates formed in 1971, including Abu Dhabi, and that's the capital, Dubai, Sharjah, Amman, Al Quwain, Fujairah, and Ras Al Khaimah. Khaimah. Where's Dave Wheeler when I need him? He knows how to say all these names. The U.S. and Israel ran heavy bombing campaigns over the weekend looking to shorten the conflict, and Iran naming a new supreme leader. Yep, they named a new supreme leader. Don't forget, last week they named a guy in the morning, and by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he was dead. He lasted about 4 hours. I hope he was getting paid by the minute, not by the day or the week, because he wouldn't have made much money. He lasted 4 hours. Now they named a new one. They didn't want to release his name. I can't blame him for that. And the guy should be saying, "Hey, don't tell him who I am or where I am for sure." but it appears to be the Ayatollah al Khamenei's son, Mojtaba, Motaba, which doesn't make the Iranians very happy, and it doesn't make him long for this world. This is nepotism. The guy's 56. You have to wonder if he'll see his 57th birthday. That's the big question right now. But this is kind of nepotism, and the supreme leader is not supposed to be a son of anybody. He's supposed to be somebody wise and qualified and experienced, but this guy's taking over. He has no experience with anything. And get this, not only did he get put in that position, supreme leader, the guy who was guarding his father is now his guard. They've appointed him as this guy's bodyguard as well, security chief. I think if I was him, I would be saying no. He did a rotten job with my father. My father's dead. I don't think I want this guy to be involved in anything. And this new guy that's been named supreme leader, the Ayatollah, he represents the worst of his father. He was in on the killing and everything else of the Iranian people. And they just don't, nepotism doesn't play well with them. He's his father, represents oppression as Iran moves forward to a democratic entity running the country, and not supreme leader monarchies of the past 50 years, so they're not looking for a monarch again. He's been appointed. How long will he last? Not too long, I don't think. And speaking of the war with Iran, a U.S. submarine torpedoed an Iranian ship in the Indian Ocean. First time a U.S. submarine has sunk a ship since 1945 during World War II. Can you imagine that? The U.S. sub chased and sank the Iranian Corvette-class missile ship in the Indian Ocean. The ship named Martyr Soleimani, after General Soleimani, the general killed in Baghdad by a U.S. strike that President Trump ordered during the first term as president. Sunk. Went to visit Davy Jones' locker at the bottom of the Indian Ocean. Ba-boom. One shot. That's all it needed. And it's over. So they wiped out, 18 Iranian ships or some huge number. Now the submarine has taken out another one. There's subs all over there. People, you don't see them, you don't know they're there, but believe me, they're in the Persian Gulf. They're following these ships around, see what they're up to and where they're going. So don't be surprised if you see any more. This is turning out to be great practice for the sub crews, for the aircraft carrier crews, for the fighter pilots. I think for the first time ever, an F-35 got in a dogfight with a Yak 106 or something, some Russian plane the Iranians were flying, and shot it out of the sky. First time ever an F-35 has been in a dogfight and been used for that. They're so advanced. The Iranians don't stand a chance. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Now, the one thing that these woke people are yelling about, and I don't know why, is Barron Trump enlisting in the military. Why aren't they forcing Barron Trump to go in the military? Well, I don't get this line of thought. There's no draft in the United States. There's no conscription. If you want to join, you join. If you don't, you don't. So why would anybody join unless you really wanted to be in the military? There's probably, 150, 200 million people that are qualified, maybe more, for going to war. Why are they picking on Barron Trump? Because he's Trump's son. He should send his son there. No. There's a conscription. He'll get his draft ticket like everybody else. He's 20 years old or whatever. But other than that, why he doesn't want to be in the army? He's going to probably run his dad's business and be president one day. So why is he going to go join the army? If he wants to, he could. Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he will join. But for people to pick on him and say you should be forced to join, I mean, these people who are yelling and screaming, their sons and daughters aren't being forced to join. If we go to a big war, World War III breaks out around the world, and you might see that happen with Europe because United States and Europe aren't getting along right now, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But yeah, so if that happened, he would be conscripted like anybody else, and he would have to go unless he had some way to get out of it. And it'd be pretty sad if he was okay to go, and Trump somehow got him out by some thing. But I don't see that. I don't see that. I think there's conscription. He gets his draft card. He'd probably go. Probably go. And speaking of Great Britain and Europe, these chimichangas, I think there's something brewing up between them and the United States right now too. In a brilliant move, Trump has done an end around on Great Britain that gives the U.S. full control to the Straits of Hormuz. Britain controlled the shipping. Ships could not traverse the straits without being insured for their cargo, and 99% of that insurance was through Lloyd's of London or other British insurers. Without insurance, cargo can't move, including oil. And Britain said they were going to stop insuring the ships because of too much of a risk because of the war there. And if that happened, all these ships would be sitting idle that couldn't go through the straits and into the Persian Gulf to get supplies and bring them back out, oil especially. So when Trump saw this, he said, hey, the U.S. is going to insure all ships that want insurance to go through and provide them with a U.S. escort through the straits in the Persian Gulf. And that essentially cuts Great Britain out of the mix. And he said he's going to give them this insurance cheaper than they were getting it before. So that means Great Britain is out. They're done. They have no power. That was their leverage before to control the Persian Gulf and oil. Well, guess what? That's gone now. Trump's going to insure them. The U.S. is going to insure them, and he's going to provide an escort. A brilliant move to get oil out of some of the world's greatest oil deposits. So the U.S. now has basically full control of oil in the world. He controls Venezuela. He controls, of course, his own. He controls Iran's. And now he controls the Persian Gulf and any countries moving stuff through there with his insurance. They're going to go through, and that insurance will be paid to the United States of America and be escorted. So the Great Britain is done. It's over for them. That market is gone. They're not dominating it anymore. And they're no more specialists than anybody else. Of course, the insurance money, like I say, would go to the U.S., hitting the British insurance companies hard. And now, as soon as Trump said this, and this is a tactic Trump always uses. He did it with Gaza. I want to turn it into a resort, and we'll fund it. And then all of a sudden, all the Arabs wanted to fund it. But all the Arabs now are on Trump's side. They're fighting with Saudi Arabia's getting bombed by Iran. Everybody's getting bombed by Iran. So now they're all against Iran. Now British insurance are saying, well, we were reluctant to do it, but we're considering doing it and taking on the risk. And there's really no need for any intervention from Iran. And all of a sudden they're interested again, but it might be too late. Trump sees an opportunity here, and he might just take it. And it's it's a bunch of baloney. It's a game. Trump's playing with them, so they'll do it. But now that they've said they won't, he'll do it. He don't care. Okay, we got somebody here giving me a message. I think it's Peter Dichter, Pete and Reet here. Barron would be too much of a distraction. He would need protection 24/7 because someone on either side will be trying to take him out for a bounty. I am sure there would. Oh, okay, for a bounty, I am sure would be huge. So, what Pete's saying is that Barron would just be a distraction if he was going to any arm of the military. He'd need protection because somebody on either side will be trying to take him out. And of course, somebody, definitely one of these countries, would put a bounty on his head. Exactly, Pete. Exactly. That's what would happen, and we saw that with Harry. Harry and I think William, were they both in the military? Harry was for sure, but they put him in choppers and that, and they had to watch him real close. Not because he wasn't qualified; he went through all the military training and that, but there's always somebody up there who's looking to put a stripe on their uniform. And if you're an Iranian and he's working over there and you could take him out, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Good point, Peter. Good point. Okay, so in the Gulf, Persian Gulf, with these ships, Trump wins again, which is winning, 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 always winning, always winning. Let's see, any more messages? No, 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 no. Nope, everything's good. And finally, I'm looking at gasoline prices and they're up here. And when I was in Florida, they were under, I saw some 255 a gallon. Now they're up to 355 or a little bit less. And there's no reason for it. It has to be oil companies gouging everybody because there's nothing blocked. The Straits of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf is open. Oil's flowing from everywhere. Gasoline prices are spiking, but none of the oil has been prevented from getting out of the Gulf. I mean, some refineries are blown up in Iran, but it can be subsidized and supplemented by Venezuelan oil, even Canadian oil. The United States has their own oil, and you've got all the other oil emirates there that are pumping oil, Dubai and everybody else. So there's no shortage of oil. Canada imports zero oil from the Persian Gulf. The cost of producing oil hasn't changed. I mean, it's just pure gouging. You're gouging by the oil companies when you see these prices going up. There's no reason for it. And we've seen this a lot. On long weekends, oil prices go up. Um, Gas prices go up, I should say, not oil prices. They've been pretty steady. They got up to about $80 US a barrel, and then they came back down, settled in at 76. I'm not sure what they are today, but they haven't been spiking. Like, you haven't seen them run up to $150 a barrel or anything. So I don't know why these prices have gone up. They were, geez, $1.25 a liter when I left, and I came back, and they're like $1.45 now. There's no reason for it other than gouging. That's what I would say. But I'm not an expert on that. I just look at what's going on, and there's nothing that bad going on that it should be happening. But here we are. Here we are. It's happening. So hopefully they stabilize now that Trump's in control over there, and then we see them start to come back down again. I don't understand, because what's in the ground is still the same price they bought it for last week, the week before. It doesn't make sense that this happening like this, but you know what? It always does. They always gouge you if you can. You know that. That's the way it works. Anyway, that's it for me today. I'm getting out of here. What's this guy saying? Trump threatens. There's always some stuff popping up on here. Trump's threatening something. I don't know what. Have to go home and watch it. But the air raid sirens are going off in Israel, Tel Aviv, and everything. And he threatened the new supreme leader. Oh. 82nd Airborne's put on high alert for ground operations. So 82nd Airborne's going to go in and get him if they can't figure out where he is. But the intelligence is unbelievable over there. Between the Mossad and the U.S., they know where these guys are and where they're moving to. But they're saying this guy is not even going to come above ground. He's going to be underground, because he knows if he pops his head out, it's going to be like whack-a-mole. They're going to get him real quick. So anyway, stay tuned for that news. I'm getting out of here. It's been a pleasure being back in the studio. Thank you for all the comments, everybody. Please support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, wildbillsauto.ca, and Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue, 905-374-2222. Did I get that number wrong my first time around here? I might have said 2200, but it's 2222. 905-374-2222. Support our sponsors. They're great corporate citizens. And we like to support our small business in Niagara Falls. I'll be back tomorrow with Your City, Your Voice right here on 4680Q Radio. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice. It says so right there. And behind me, I would rather have St. Pete Beach in the Gulf of America, but it is what it is. I'm here now. Hey, have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the weather. We'll see you tomorrow. And God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, and we'll talk about comments tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.